Hello, this is SJ Talks in Life coming back at you with another video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. It's that little button. If you're on your phone looking at my video, it's that button down there. Okay, please and thank you. I was on Facebook the other day and I was on um, a child support blog where they were talking about child support. Um, I just, I'm guilty. I love the debate. People be coming for me, but I set myself up for it because I love a good debate, but I know when to end the debate too. And so, yes, sometimes I do go back and forth with people on Facebook, but it's a productive debate. I got to admit I'm guilty. I do like the debate. But anyway, people come for me, but bring it. I set myself up for it, but bring it. Bring it. Um, well, I'm a content creator. So, anyway, it was talking about child support. And they were the men on this blog, and it was talking about mothers receiving child support and this and that. And there's different topics relating, different things relating to child support. And the men on there was getting very upset. The men on this post was getting very, very upset about child support and things like that. And talking about, what the woman does with the money and all this kind of stuff. And some of the other women, and including myself, was making the point that child support is for the child. You know, um, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand why do men get so upset about supporting their kids? Because a lot of men in that blog was very upset. Um, and stuff like that. Now I get it that the system is rigged, and there's a lot of flaws in the child support system. The child support system, they get a percentage of the money. They have that motivation to pursue the cases because they get a percentage of the money. And there's a lot of flaws in the system, and a lot of fathers that are trying to support their children and do right by their children sometimes have to suffer, because the child support system is all screwed out. It does need to be overhauled and things like that, because the child support system was set up to enforce child support on men that don't want to provide for their children. That's what it was set up for. It was also set up for the government to get money out of people, to be honest, because they get a portion of that money. The system is somewhat rigged. So I can understand the frustration. But but there is, at the same time, on the flip side, there's a reason why the child support system is in place. It is in place to enforce child support, to get child support off of men that don't want to support their children. Because a lot of men think it's okay to go out here and make babies and not take care of them. They think it's okay to go out here and make babies and put all the responsibility on the mother and not take care of them. Not saying all men, but there's a lot of men that are like that, because there you got some fathers that are doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're trying to take care of their kids. But so that's what the child support system is for. It's for those fathers that do not want to voluntarily support their children, you know, because there is a lot of men out there like that don't want to voluntarily support their kids. And children are made by two people. It takes a woman and a man to make the woman provides the egg, the man provides the sperm. So it takes two people to make a baby. So two people should be taking care of that child. It's both people's responsibility to support and take care of that child. It's not all on the woman. Okay, even if it was a situation to where the woman and the man wasn't together, where everybody knows that having unprotected sex can lead to a pregnancy, and I think everybody knows that. Um, you know, Everything you should know it. If you don't, check your bub. But I just don't understand. I don't understand why men get so upset about um, supporting their children. I was just reading the comments in these blogs, and these men are so upset and up in arms about, and they could have been upset with the system, but it just seems like they have such a big problem with supporting their kids. Why is it that you guys have such a big problem? Not everybody, but why do men have such a big problem supporting their kids? This is what I don't understand. This is what I don't get, you know, because child support is for the child. Child support payments is for the child, and it goes to the child. It is to help either reimburse the mother for her paying the expenses of the care of the child, or the payments go to help support the child, either and or, either or. A lot of the men were getting upset because they were saying that the mother, well, a lot of times the mothers take the money and they do other things with it. And my point that I was making was, well, if the mother is providing most of the primary expenses for the child, what do you care what she's doing with the money? If the mother is providing a roof over the child's head, clothes, a shelter, and this and that and the other, what do you care what? That's a point I made to one of the posters on there. What do you care what she does with the money if the you know, it's like they deflect. If the mother's providing food, shelter, clothing, men have no idea how expensive it is to take care of kids. Children are very expensive. I raised two myself. I I had to. Now my oldest son's dad was on Social Security, and so I got his check when I was taking. I got, well, I didn't get his check. Correction, I got a check because he was on Social Security. I received a check for my son, so that I got that for quite a few years, and then my other son's dad, I barely got anything. The only time I would ever get any money is when he went to jail. When they arrested him and he went to jail, that's the only time I got any money out of him. And so, I, other than that, I, hold on. Yeah, guy was playing music. I had to mute it because I don't get copyrighted. But I think it would be safe to say that I provided 90% of the expenses, um, because I mostly worked. I got food stamps here and there, but I mostly worked. So I provided a good most of the expenses for my sons. I provided. I took care of. So um, it men have no idea how expensive children are. You got to provide shelter for them. You got to put a roof over your head, and that is not cheap nowadays. With housing costs going up, that's not cheap. You got to put food in their mouth. You got to make sure they eating all 3 meals. They go to school, they get free lunch or whatever. Well, at my son's school, they used to get free breakfast and lunch. So I took full advantage of that. But you got to provide food, you got to provide shelter, you got to provide clothes, and they grow fast. They grow like weeds. So every time you turn around, you got to go buy clothes. Coats. I live in Michigan, so coats for the winter, gloves, hats, school expenses, toys, all those miscellaneous expenses in between, transportation costs, all that goes into the child. Everything, utilities, everything that a woman is paying, utilities, housing, shelter expenses, everything that a woman is paying goes towards the support of the child. It's not just about food and clothes. It is about everything. Everything that woman is paying goes towards the care of the child, and it's very expensive. It's about $300,000 to raise a child from birth to 18. They said 250. That's bull because inflation, everything done went up. I say it's $300,000. I tried to crunch the numbers. It came up to way more money than that. So men have absolutely no idea how expensive it is to take care of children. It is very expensive, especially when they get in them teen years. When they get in them teen years, they won't. My sons is at the one time they wouldn't wear anything else but Nikes. They didn't wear anything. I got my first pair of Nikes about a few years ago. And my older son was like, "Mom, you never bought yourself no Nikes." I said, "That's because I was too busy buying them for y'all." I was too busy buying them for y'all. it, it's my kid. I used to like to shop at Kmart. When my sons got to be a certain age, they didn't want nothing from Kmart. That was all well and good and all cute when they was little, but when they got to a certain age, they didn't want to shop at Kmart no more. Because I told my youngest son one time, this is before Kmart closed. I said, "Oh, they got some cute ass, some cute little, boy stuff on clearance." I said, they got some cute stuff down here on clearance, jackets and stuff like that." He said, "Mom, I don't want nothing out of Kmart." I said, "Well, you don't have to tell them it's from Kmart. I don't want to get roasted." I said, "Well, you tell those kids to buy your clothes. If they want you to wear Nikes or all these designer brands, tell them to go out and buy it, okay? You tell them to go buy your clothes. How about that? Since they want to complain about what you're wearing." Because they get to a certain age, it's not that they had to have name brand everything. It's just that they did not want their clothes from Kmart. So I had to go to the mall and buy clothes, and I had to. It's like that's all they wanted was Nikes and Jordans and things like that when they got to be a certain age. So when they got to be in them teen years, shoes and stuff got expensive. Shoes and stuff got expensive. Not to mention, I went into some credit card debt. You know, things got expensive when they got older. And it doesn't stop at 18. Those expenses extend beyond 18. Okay? So men have no idea how much money goes into a child, plus child care expenses. Of course, I got child care assistance, but I still had to pay out of pocket. They didn't pay the whole thing. I still had to pay a percentage. Um, the child the county only paid like 80%, so I had to pay the rest. You know, so you know you got to pay child care expenses, transportation, housing, shelter, food, everything that you pay as a single mother, everything that you pay goes towards the care of the child. And these men are complaining about, "Oh, she's going out spending the money on herself." First of all, you have no idea what that woman is doing with the money. Second of all, is she's providing all the expenses, all her monies and everything is going towards the expenses of that child, then what difference does it make? As long as the child is taken care of, as long as the child has a roof over their head, what you're paying is probably a reimbursement for what she's already paid into the child, paid for the child. What difference does it make what she's doing with it? As long as the child has, now if the child is being neglected, that's another story. If a child is being neglected, then yeah, then that you got a valid argument. What is she doing with that money? But even that little bit of money you paying, it's not going to take care of 50% of shelter costs, 50% of housing costs. It's supposed to be 50-50. The man's supposed to be at least paying half. That little bit of child support that y'all be paying don't even put a dent in the expenses that most women have for the children. Let's call a thing, as Ayanna say. Let's call a thing a thing. That little most of the time, you men ain't even hardly paying nothing. Cause that little check I got from when my older son's dad was on Social Security and I received the check. Well, it started out at $80 and it went up, of course, because you get raises and it went up. And you know, that only, it helped. Now I don't, please don't get me wrong, it helped. It helped tremendously. But it didn't enable me to. I there was times I did work part time, but then when I worked part time, I still struggle even with that check coming in. So it didn't provide half of the expenses. It only provided a portion of the expenses of what everything I had to pay towards supporting my son. And then the other father, my youngest son's dad, only time I got any money is when he got arrested, which was here and there. Okay? So most of the time, the mother is putting way more money and expenses into the support. A good mother that's not neglectful is putting way more expenses into the care of the children than that little bit of child support that y'all complaining about what she's doing with. So that's what I was telling some of the men in there. What difference does it make as long as the child is getting taken care of? If the child is being neglected, then that's one thing. Go to court and fight for custody of your child if the child is being neglected. Then she has to pay child support. You see how that works? But it should be 50-50. And in most cases, it's not 50-50. The women have to pay most of the expenses that goes into taking care of that child. And these men have the audacity, and it's mostly black men, that have the audacity to talk about the women going down to the county and getting assistance. That's because in most cases the woman is not making enough money to absorb all these costs that goes into. Yeah, I had to get a little food stamps. I'm not ashamed to say it. Yeah, I did got to give me a little stamps. I sure did. Ain't ashamed to say it. You know what? Pride never put no food on my table. Pride has never put food on my table. I can't think of not one time where pride has put food on my table. Pride ain't never put no food on my table. So I did whatever I needed to do, and I had some times, some times where I really struggled, and I had to take advantage of some of the food banks and things like that. See, men have no idea what us mothers have to go through. All they do is this, running their mouth and paying that little bit of money here and there. Because if they were really supporting their children like they were supposed to, we wouldn't be having this conversation. See, we wouldn't be having this conversation because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be 50-50. Child support is for the child. It is a child. And if the mother is taking care of all the expenses that goes towards that child, okay, it's a reimbursement check. What difference does it make what she's doing with it? As long as the child it's going to go towards, I promise you, it's going to go towards the expenses of the child. Because everything she's paying is going towards, I know, I raised 2 kids. And I had to pay housing expenses, you name it, food, everything. So a little bit of that child support I got, that went towards it too. Living expenses and all that. So, not to mention vacation costs. We didn't even throw that in there. We didn't even throw vacation costs in there. You don't want your baby to go on a vacation? The money can goes towards that too. Not just for her to take a vacation, but for her to take the children. I took my 2 sons to LA back in 2011. I took my 2 sons to Los Angeles. And of course, we stayed with my friend when we were down there, so we didn't have to pay for a hotel. But it cost me almost $1,000 for 3 round trip tickets to Los Angeles. Plus, I had to, pay baggage fees and expenses and that. Like I said, we stayed with my friends, so I didn't have to worry about no hotel costs. But we had to pay other costs, when we were down there. I had to throw him a little something for him helping us out. You know what I'm saying? So, vacation costs. You don't want your kid to go on vacation? You want your child to go through 18 years without a vacation. Because that's included in there too. Vacation costs. Mothers do all that. Good mothers do all that. That little check come. You got a little extra, you know, you go take a trip somewhere, you know. And that costs money too. When you gotta pay hotels and all that kind of stuff. That stuff costs money. And depending on the number of children you have, it's gonna be more expensive. So men need to miss me with that. Oh, what is she doing with the money? Because it's a deflection. At the end of the day, y'all you guys, you main guys that are complaining, you don't want to take care of your kids. Because a real man does what he has to do. A real man does what he has to do, and he doesn't do a lot of this. He don't complain about it. He does what he has to do. And he helps the mother with whatever she needs. Now, I admit my oldest son's dad, I got to give him a little credit. My oldest son's dad did it. In addition, you know, if I needed a few extra bucks and he had it, he would give it to me. You know, and one time he fixed my car for me. So I got to give my oldest son's dad that credit, you know. If I needed some money, you know, and he had it, he would give it to me, you know. But I took care of most of the other stuff, you know. So I just get tired of men always complaining about taking care of their kids. Yeah, the system is messed up. I admit. But why are you in the child support system in the first place? The question is, why are you in the child support system in the first place? See, nobody wants to talk about that. Why are you in the child support system, buddy? If you were doing what you were supposed to be doing, maybe you wouldn't be in the system. Well, the county puts men on a lot of times too. That's a whole nother video. I've talked about that in other videos. But you know what? You feel what I'm saying. So that's the bottom line. Child support is for the child. It is for the child. Okay? It is for the support of the child. And the system was put in place to enforce child support on a lot of these men that want to be out here making babies, but they don't want to take care of their kids. And the system is like, oh no. Oh no. You're not about to just run out here and not be taking care of your kids. And we got to give your mama food stamps and child care expenses and all that. That ain't going to work. You need to man up and take care of your kids. This is what the system says. So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you got to complain about taking care of your kids, think about that. Are you a man? Because a real man takes care of his children and he doesn't complain about it. He just does what he has to do as a man. A real man takes care of any family he helps create. And they don't sit around and complain about it all the time. Okay? They do whatever they can to assist the mother. Okay? So hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are, on it. Men, don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Because I didn't call for you. Don't come for me because I didn't call for you. And if you come for me, I'm going to come for you. Because you know what I'm saying is the truth. Okay, hit me up. Hit me up with life. Because these men, they like to come for me in my comment section. So hit that like, subscribe, and share. And that notification bell so every time I do a video, you'll be notified. And to the next video, you guys be blessed.